For 10,000.
Let me set up my add-ons real quick. Let's do elf. We want. We don't need auctioneer because we can't use the auction house. We don't need bartender. Not gonna need. I guess we can leave Nova on. Musty. Don't need Ranker. We do need unit scan 100%. Don't need what's training. That's it. Alright. Hey, Luca. Yeah, let's see how it. So this is gonna be. It's gonna be. You can only. I can only equip gear I craft, but I can use weapons that are self-found. And this is a self-found hardcore character. So if I find weapons off of, any weapons mobs drop, I can use. Or if I find a weapon in like a chest that I open, I can use it. But since it's self-found, obviously I can't use the auction house, can't use the mail system. I mean, I guess I could do dungeons and use weapons that I get off of mobs. I'm not gonna allow weapons from quest items, right? So no like quest gear. I don't think, right? Yeah, I don't think I'll allow quest weapons. So only weapons that drop off mobs or weapons that I loot out of like a chest, you know? What do you think? That sounds about right, right? I don't think we should allow quest weapons. So no quest-based gear. And I'm going to do my standard melee hunter hybrid build. Which basically means I'll be doing mostly melee. In the beginning, I just use the bow because to get through the first like level 10 levels, it's way faster just to use the bow. Really, really slow if you try to do straight melee damage at like 1 to 10. It's really slow. I don't want to make it take that long. See, like, so we can equip this because we. Oh no, we can't equip that. We can't equip that, right? So we're saying we can't equip gear, right? So I can't use any gear. So the only gear I can equip, like clothing and armor, is crafted. And the only weapons I can use, because I'm going to be leatherworking and I can't craft weapons as a leatherworker, so the only weapons I can use are weapons that I get off of monsters. Okay. Oh, you mean you want me to take off all my gear? Is that what you're saying? We start the game where we can't use anything? How about the ragged? How about even the raggeds? I mean, let's at least let me wear the shirt. Remove everything from the initial. Well, I hate walking around naked. I'm sorry. I am gonna allow. I'm sorry. I'm gonna allow just because I don't like running around naked. I think I look stupid. I am gonna allow the starter gear because it's not like it's giving me any benefit. It's like literally like no armor, like 2 armor. So yeah, it's really no benefit. I just don't want to walk around naked. I look stupid. We'll assume that I crafted this gear. How about that? Let's assume that my mom. We'll assume that my mother, Night Elf mother, crafted me this gear to start with. I don't know. Here. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're saying though. Like, well, I'm not gonna like start off with. I'm not gonna start off and like take my weapons and everything away. I'm not gonna like punch mobs. But I guess I could. It would be kind of. I guess we could, but it would be kind of stupid. All right, so you're saying, or you want to go down the hardcore path of basically saying I start off with nothing, right? If I can... Am I not having... I have to have Raptor Strike him. Yeah, we do. No, the naked doesn't matter, but doing the first 6 levels without any weapons at all is just kind of stupid. I mean, it's kind of silly. You're just slowing down the process. But we could try it. You know what I mean? If I take my weapons off, then I'm going to be punching mobs for like, you know, a couple hours. But if you think I need to do that, I will. If you think that's all part of the challenge. Well, I tell you one thing. Okay. So the one thing I'm not gonna do though, like, okay, so here's the deal, right? Here's the deal. I want to be a leather worker, right? Because I want to be able to craft the, you know, male gear that a hunter can use. So you have to give the hunter, you have to give the character one concession. The one concession is if I'm going to allow the character to use a ranged weapon, we could say that you can only use weapons that you find. But, right, we can say you can only use weapons that you can find. But you got to be able to buy ammo, right? Because you're not going to be able to craft ammo. I can't craft arrows. Now, if I were to go blacksmithing, I'm sorry, engineering, I think it is, we could craft bullets, but then you completely have ruined the ability to craft any armor, right? Engineering can't craft any armor. So you have to have that one concession of saying, you know, you can actually, you know, buy arrows, right? And I've run into this before, and this is just simply because the crafting system in WoW is flawed. Yeah, you would have to, exactly, or buy ammo. Yeah, yeah, you have to, like, it's really just a flaw in the crafting system in World of Warcraft because you can't craft, which is stupid, right? Like, there's tons of MMOs where you can craft arrows, you know, New World. I mean, I don't really know about Final Fantasy, but a lot of MMOs, I mean, it's just kind of dumb. You should be able to craft arrows. So, if I'm going to play a hunter and I want to be a leather worker to craft, you know, the leather that my character can use, then I have to be able to, unless I just want to say I can't use ranged weapons at all. But the problem with that is then you take away one of my favorite things on my survival, like kind of melee hunter hybrid, which is just Serpent Sting. Serpent Sting is really useful because it's a good way to pull mobs. And it also makes the gameplay a lot more fun. And I'm not going to make the gameplay boring. You know, it's just boring if you have no ranged weapon whatsoever, then you have no ability to pull mobs. So that just slows down. It slows down leveling because you have to physically run up to everything to hit it. So it just makes that engaging process a lot slower. It also makes it a lot more boring. So if we want to make this hardcore, we could say that, okay, I can't use any weapons that I start off with, right? We could say that I have to just basically have no gear whatsoever. Because it probably won't take long to get a bow, but that means it's going to slow down the process because now I'm just punching mobs, right? Now we have to go up to mobs and we're just literally punching them. You know, we're doing this because we have no We can't do anything. Yeah, I mean, you should be able to craft arrows, right? But we can do this. We just have to hope that we get like a bow drop, which you get bow drops. I think it's like the first bow you're gonna see is like a cracked bow, I think. We're gonna get we'll get good at punching stuff. Our unarmed. It's too bad there's no like fist weapons. There's only one fist weapon that drops off of a mob, and I know which mob it is too. I know. Well, I think there's different mobs that drop, but I know one specific mob that we can farm to get the Vile Rend Slicers.
You were screwed.
It's in Blackrock Depths. Nope, look, we got it. No, we didn't. That's what I was thinking we had a bow, but that's the one that we got. Let's go sell the bow and get rid of that. We can keep the arrows because, yeah, I'm not gonna make myself buy arrows. That's fine. We can keep the arrows. But we gotta find a bow before we have a ranged weapon. I thought that other boar was gonna like join in and attack me or something. The way he came running up on me.
You can kiss your ass goodbye. You were screwed.
So are we saying? What are we saying about food? Same thing with food, right? We can only use stuff that we craft. So we shouldn't be able to buy food either. So the only thing I'm going to allow myself to buy from the vendor, like the only thing, probably would just be arrows, right? I think that's it. So the only time we'd interact with vendors is just to sell stuff and maybe repair gear. Yeah, so we won't be able to buy food. We'll have to craft our own food. Well, we won't... Like, same thing with drinks. We won't be able... I can't buy drinks either. I don't think. Which means... I'm trying to... So how am I going to get drink? I mean, there is mana regen fish food. But I don't think... I mean, the lowest level mana regen fish food... And there is water you get from mobs, like... But it's higher level water. Oh! There's crates. There's food crates. Yeah, there's crates. You know, there's crates around the world, like water barrels and stuff. We're just gonna have to find water barrels and barrels of milk and loot them. So, yeah, so we'll do that. We could also use, you know, when we get like fish at later points in the game, we'll be able to do that. So.
Goddess, watch over you. Peace be with you. Illume like
So the only thing we're going to start off with is just some arrows. Because I would have to buy arrows anyway. Yeah, most of the stuff that regens mana is later level. So the only like low level mana regeneration stuff we're going to find is like water barrels and barrels of milk. And there's also melon juice barrels too. We're just going to have to keep our eyes open. We have to keep our eyes open. So it's truly self-found, like only stuff you find, right?
What brings you?
No, but that's okay.
May the stars guide you.
At like higher levels, it's not too big a deal because, like I said, we'll be able to fish. You'll be able to fish up some food that we can use for. And also, there's mobs that we can kill that drop water. It'll only be like 835 water, but it's still, you know, it's better than no water. And then we can also, you know, use craft food that is MP5. Well, also we can also, when we get leatherworking going, we can try to craft leatherworking gear that maybe has good spirit regen on it. Like I think the blue dragon scale stuff. But again, all that stuff's higher level. Yeah, there's water elementals that drop it, and there's water mobs in Ashenvale. So the lowest level ones will be in Ashenvale. The ones in Ashenvale drop it too. So if you go to Ashenvale here, these guys here by the town deep path right here, this little lake, they drop enchanted water. So we can get water there. I have this playlist that I'm playing. Does it have? Yeah, here we go. Let me fix something here real quick. Gotta modify a playlist. No. Okay. Can we kill these guys at level 2? We can do level 2. Say hello to my fists. I want level 3. So that would suck. So this is definitely going to slow down the leveling in the beginning. Like the first 10 levels are going to be way slower doing it this way. Like initially I was thinking of just letting my character use the starter gear, but that kind of doesn't really go with the self-found like kind of challenge that we're doing. So and I guess we'll try level 3.
You can kiss your ass goodbye. You can kiss your ass goodbye.
Okay, we did just. Okay, so we can. Oh no, we can't. I keep forgetting. We can't equip gear that we haven't crafted. We can use weapons that we get because we can't craft weapons, unfortunately, as a leather worker. But we can't equip a gear. I think the best thing to do for the fastest way to level is going to be kill the level 1 mobs until we're like probably level 5. Just because we'll get our XP a little bit quicker. killing these level 1s. Now you want to play the challenge yourself as Warlock or Rogue? I think Rogue would be. I think either one of those would be fun. I just love hunters. I'm a big fan of hunters. So, plus as a hunter, I like the fact that you can craft, you know, gear that you can wear like leather and stuff, and we'll be able to craft like mail armor later down the road, like which is nice. You know, you can, as long as we make it that far, right? I mean, we'll see. I do think hardcore is always way more fun than non-hardcore WoW. At this point, you know. And this server is going to take off, right? That's the other thing that'll be interesting, is this server is going to take off. Because Ompi's doing his challenge on the Alliance, I believe, on this server. So I believe we're probably going to see a pretty big influx of players. I don't know when that starts, though. Let's see. Oh, June 19, never mind. Never mind. There it is, today. June 19th. So it looks like it starts June 19th. So it looks like they're starting at 10 a.m. Pacific. So 10 a.m. Pacific. So that would be 1 p.m. Thursday, which is, so it starts 1 p.m. today. So we're gonna see like a crazy influx of players hit this server starting at 1 p.m. today. Like I would imagine we're gonna see hundreds. Yeah, it starts today. Yeah. So it'll be nice to see, you know, it'll be nice to see people in the world, maybe talk to people, maybe we'll talk to you, and we'll be able to group with them, right? Right, Ken? Is this challenge allowed grouping, Luca? I would imagine we could still do dungeons and stuff, right? Is self-found, can you group in self-found? Unable to trade, use an auction center. Yeah, you can still group, I think. So we could still do join insurrection. I don't. No, but I mean, no, that's not, like, you're talking about for the challenge? That's for the challenge, though. I won't be in the challenge because they won't accept me into that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be in their challenge, the Ampy challenge, whatever the fuck his name is, because, you know, they won't, I think they've already closed their memberships, right? Let me ask them. Let me ask them. Can I join the guild, or can I guild, or oh, there's an add-on. Now I'm not running no add-on, dude. Well, what's the add-on? Like, what does the add-on do? Yeah, I don't know if I. Oh. Yeah, I'm not gonna bother with that. I don't care if I get the world buffs. I'm not gonna, unless you think that's part of this challenge. I'm not gonna actively seek out world buffs. And it's a hardcore server, so you have to be. Here's the thing: you're not gonna get world buffs, right? On a hardcore server that doesn't have big population, how the hell are you gonna get world buffs? You know how often people are gonna be like clearing a Nixie on a hardcore server, like a server that has a low population. Like there are not gonna be too many world buffs dropped in Stormwind on this server. So like saying that world buffs, I mean, the only people who'd be doing world buffs probably would be these guys, the guild itself. Yeah, I'm not going to specifically be trying to get world buffs. But what I'm trying to say is I don't think there's going to be too many opportunities to even get world buffs. Because on this hardcore server with low pop, I don't think there's going to be too many people killing, you know, Anixio or clearing ZG or clearing Black Temple or whatever. Or not Black Temple, but yeah, whatever the... What is that instance? It's not Black Temple. Is it Black Temple? It's not Black Temple. It's the dragon one. I can't remember the name. You know what I mean? The one that drops the other buff. And the Nefarian. There's a Nefarian one.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm not really going to worry about it. But yeah, I'm not going to join the guild. I'm not going to install some add-on that's going to be slowing down my game performance. Just so it can prevent me from getting robots, which I really am not going to actively try to pursue anyway. So I don't really want to be in this guild. This front 2 bullshit. Yeah. Yeah. It's BWL. BWL is has a buff as well, so
Goddess bless you.
yeah, when you kill I think Nefarian or whatever in BWL, you're gonna get
A
the
sharp command.
that buff as well. So there's 2 buffs for the Alliance. Well, there's 3 if you count like ZG. If you clear ZG, you're gonna get the buff down in Booty Bay as well. I'm just living on the server, you know. I'm just leveling so fast. So I don't think I'll join because I don't really. Yeah, I don't play Horde either, so not very often anyway. Let's go ahead and turn in our Hunter quest, which I believe is up top. Yeah, I mean, if they let me join the community guild without having to install the add-on, I would join just to see the traffic, just to see the traffic in guild chat. just just to not feel so alone. But this is self-found. The self-found hardcore is to be alone. You know what I mean? It's to be.
I am honored. Goddess, watch over me.
I'd like to train. What can we learn? Track beats. All right.
May the stars guide you.
I am honored.
Can I have tracking? Escape from New York.
Don't move.
Alright, what else we got going on here? Just, let me close down some of my browsers here. Yeah, so apparently I can't be in the guild without running some hokey add-on. Alright, what do we need? Board. We're level 3. We should still continue to kill like level 1 mobs. One and 2. Until we get at least to level 4, and then we can kill the little dudes, little demons, the grelk. The grells. And so we're hoping to... The only weapons we can use are ones that we get off mobs or find in a chest. So right now... Okay, we will. Okay, we are gonna have to allow my character to train weapon, hit the weapons trainer, because that would be kind of dumb if we didn't. If we didn't allow the character to hit the weapons trainer, then the only weapon skills we could use in the game would be daggers and bows, which we could do that too. What do you think about that, Luca? Should we just not allow my character to hit the weapons trainer? The only bad part about not allowing my character to the weapons trainer is then we're really gonna get my possibility of getting weapons, because then I'm relegated to the only weapons I could ever equip would be bows or daggers that are dropped from mobs or looted from chests. So I think allowing the character to learn from a weapons trainer is probably okay. Give us more chances to get like axes and swords. I think it'll just make it more fun. We get it for... We get... Okay, we definitely want to go to the aspect of the monkey. Yeah, we definitely need that. Let's go hit our trainer again. No, I was saying... Oh, I didn't know you were at work, sorry. I was just saying, I think we have to allow my character to learn from a weapon trainer. Otherwise, the only weapons we could ever equip would be bows and daggers, and that's it. So, and I just think that would be kind of boring. It would seriously limit our chance to actually get usable weapons, since we can only use weapons that are dropped from mobs or looted from a chest. So I just think that we pretty much have to allow her to, because it just would be not fun. It's like not gonna be fun if I can't even equip like a axe or, or a staff, Yeah, so I think we definitely want to allow my character to train weapon skills. Alright, so we're going to go aspect of the monkey, which will help us in our little melee endeavors here. That's another thing, though. Like when we do these types of challenges, one of the things these types of challenges really, shed a light on areas of the game that could be improved for Classic Plus, and one of those ways would obviously be to give different classes different types of weapon maybe abilities, or like specifically for like the hunter. I mean, obviously like more melee abilities, but one of the things I would love to see the hunter get is a ranged ability that doesn't require a ranged weapon, kind of like a rogue. For a perfect example is the rogue, right? The rogues don't have to have really. I mean, I guess you can think of like throwing daggers as a ranged weapon, but what I'm saying is, and they are a ranged weapon. But I guess all I'm trying to say is give hunters like some sort of other throwing type weapon or skill that simulates some sort of a throw, like a poison dart skill. So like, I have I've got Serpent Sting, which requires a ranged weapon. It'd be I think I would love to see in Classic Plus hunters get a poison dart that doesn't require a ranged weapon. It's just a skill. You know, it just assumes that, hey, when you learn this skill, you also learn the abilities to, you know, and maybe you could even add that to the hunter's toolkit. Like that's something you don't see a lot in MMOs, which I think would be really cool. So like in WoW we have it with rogues. Like rogues can craft poison, right? What's up, JP? How's it going? Like rogues can craft poison for their daggers, right? Which they took away in later versions of WoW, which is just stupid. Because I mean, it's all part of the roleplay part. It's all part of the roleplay aspect, and it accentuates, you know, yeah. So it accentuates the the feeling of being locked in to your character and kind of buying into the fantasy element of who the identity of your character. So yeah, so RP wise for sure. Well, I would like it to be like a poison dart, or you could do maybe you could craft like a think about it. Think of like a hunter. What would a hunter in the wild create, right? Maybe a sling. Maybe you could craft like a sling. That would be cool. And then you could pick up rocks off the ground. And, you know, like kind of like in New World, how you pick up rocks off the ground. Then you could pick up rocks off the ground, like pebbles, and you could use them to throw, you know, use your sling to whip rocks at people. You know, I think that would be really cool. Also, I think you could create like maybe you could create like a blow dart gun if you wanted. Maybe you could do something like that, or you could create like little dart, just little poison darts. Although I don't know how you would craft them. Like, what would you use to make those? I think if there were like porcupines in the game, that would work, because then you could like get the quills from a porcupine and turn those into like a dart, maybe. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying, like a tube. But I think a sling would work, because I'm trying to think of things you could craft from items that you could either loot in the game or could be added to the loot table of a mob, right? Like if you think about leather, like you could use the leather from an animal to craft a little leather pouch that would hold the rock, and then you would have to, and you could also use the leather to make the string, and then you would just need a stick and some rocks, and you craft like a little sling. And then what other kind of ranged weapons? I'm trying to think what Native Americans had. Yeah, cloth and stick, like a leather, cloth, stick. Other ranged weapons would be. Let's see what other kind of ranged weapons could we create? I mean, the only thing I can really think of is a sling or a dart, right? Boomerang. Oh, good idea, Morton. That's a really good idea. That's a great idea, like a boomerang, and that would be like you could just craft it. It'd be like a hunter craftable weapon, like hunter boomerang or something. Yeah, because you think about like the Aborigines, right? They had boomerangs, didn't they? This sounds like a great job for ChatGPT. In a MMORPG game, I want to come up with various weapons the hunter could craft, like a slingshot, dart. What other of ranged craftable weapons are there about history that may fall into this type of category? Okay, we've got slingshot, sling, leather cord that flings stones, atlantal, a spear thrower, lever device to throw darts or light spears further, boomerang, throwing darts, small hand-thrown projectiles, blowpipe, which is what we were talking about. Ooh, throwing nets, yeah. That would be awesome. Throwing nets for capturing or slowing prey and animals. Hooked bola. A variant of bola is used to entangle legs. That's another one. Spine trap spikes. Throwable bone spikes like a porcupine barrage. And all these are a good idea, right? Improvised crafting weapons. Hunter made from scavenged or natural materials. Bone shard arrows. Crystal javelins. Horn flute darts. Pitch jar. Throwable tar pot that ignites or slows foes. This is why ChatGPT is so good, right? Bladed throwing rings made of metal, bone, or obsidian. A spiked chakram. Small balanced axes. Fungus grenades. This is awesome. Organic bombs that explode into spores or gases. That's awesome. I would love to see that in Classic Plus. I mean, these are all great ideas, right? Yeah, I think the nets would be amazing, like craftable nets. And of course, we do have that in World of Warcraft later on, like with tailoring. You can actually craft like netherweave nets, I believe they're called. I think that came out in, was it Wrath of the Lich King? Not Wrath of the Lich King, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was a Burning Crusade, I think, wasn't it? Yeah, TBC Classic. Capture a target up 25 yards away in a net, the netherweave net. Yeah, that was actually TBC. Yeah, I think nets would be great. So these guys are good for food. We can definitely use food, right? Or wait, what did we say about the food? Can we only use craftable food, or can we use food that we loot from mobs? I think we should be able to use food that we loot from mobs, right? Don't you think?
Kiss your ass goodbye.
What do you guys think? Can we use food that we loot from mobs, or are we going to say we can only use craftable food? Because we can only wear gear that we craft outside of weapons. Weapons, since we can't craft weapons, we can use weapons that we get off of mobs. You think it's easy to craft? Okay. So you think I should or should? I tell you what, let's go with Luca. I think it's easy to craft food. Let's just say that we can't use food unless we craft it. Yeah, we kind of already said that, didn't we? Well, no. But we did say we could use water that we find. Okay, so let's do that. Let's say we can use food that we find. Like if we find like a food crate, we can use that. Or if we find food in a crate. But we can't. The only thing we can use off of mobs that they drop is weapons. So the only thing we can use... What about scrolls? What if a mob drops like a scroll of spirit? Can we use that? Or like potion.
You can kiss your ass goodbye.
I think we should be able to use scrolls and potions, right? This is not gear. Yeah, I think so. But if we can use scrolls and potion... I'm just trying to think. We can use scrolls and potions to drop off mobs, but... I don't know, I think we probably should be able to allow... I think we should probably be able to use food, because food doesn't really drop off of mobs that much. Right? I don't know. I think we should. I think we should allow the use of food and water that drops off of mobs. Because it just seems like it kind of falls in line with, you know, like this food, like these items I got off mobs, like this tough jerky and this refreshing spring water. I mean, it is easy enough to craft, and we won't be, you know what I mean? It doesn't really matter one way or the other to me. I'm not trying to make it easier. I'm just saying if we're gonna allow me to use like a potion of healing that I get off of a mob, then it seems kind of silly that I couldn't use a flask of water that I get off a mob. You know what I mean? That's kind of where I was going with it. I wasn't trying to make the challenge easier. I was just like, doesn't make a lot of sense that I could say. So like what I'm saying is, if I can't use food and water for mob, then I don't think I should be able to use potions and scrolls. That's kind of what I was saying. You know, like if we're not going to allow me to use food and water, then I shouldn't be using scrolls and potions. Because we can, the thing is, we're going to do fishing, probably. So we'll get plenty of potions from fishing. You get you get tons of potions from fishing, so. I'm gonna make a decision, and my decision is that the only thing that mobs drop that we can use, the only thing they drop that we can use is is weapons. That's it. Everything else they drop we can't use. So we can't use food, can't use drink, can't use potions, can't use scrolls, nothing. The only thing I can use off a mob is weapons. If they drop like a dagger or something, I can use that. Because I can't buy weapons. You know what I mean? So I think that makes it more clear. There's no like gray area there, So we cannot use anything from a mob other than weapons that drop. And the only reason we can use weapons that drop from mobs is just simply because we can't craft them. We could craft them, because I'm not going blacksmithing. Because if I went blacksmithing, there's no leather armor in blacksmithing. I wouldn't be able to use any gear from blacksmithing until I reach like level 40, which makes no sense. It just doesn't make any sense, right? Like I'm not going to level from 1 to 40 naked. I'm just not going to do that. So I was just killing these guys because I did lie. There is one other thing we can use from mobs, and that's bags. So we are gonna allow my character to use bags. If I get a bag from mob, we can use that. So that's the one other thing we can use besides like weapons. Because I mean, it's just kind of silly to limit myself with bag space. That's just dumb. There's nothing worse in an MMO than not being able to pick stuff up because your inventory's full. Right now, I'm literally just farming bags right now. I probably should have healed up a little bit before I attacked this one. Let's see how low I get.
You can kiss your ass goodbye.
Probably drop down to around 20 health. Let's see. And these guys do not hit for much damage. Plus, now that I've got aspect of the monkey, I'm dodging. I'm dodging a lot of stuff, so go ahead and turn these quests in. Oh, did you see my videos I made earlier tonight?
nature's call. İşni daldiye. Aşağı
Yeah, for sure there are, and I do. Thanks, Morton. I do that as well. We can't, but yeah, we can do the rabbits and deer. And actually, another great thing you can do to level up your skinny is when you're in Darnassus, there's tons of deer all over Darnassus. I always feel kind of bad as a night elf running around Darnassus killing all the deer, but it definitely helps speed up your skinning. Your skinning skill. Yeah. So, but yeah, I do that all the time. That's actually a great tip, Morton. Yeah, I always feel bad about it though, like running through Darnassus killing all the deers. I feel like some night elf like security guard is gonna come out and say, "You're not a night elf. Night elves wouldn't kill the deer in their capital city." You know what I mean? It feels like you're breaking some sort of night elf code or something. But yeah, I definitely for sure. They changed that in later versions of WoW where you can't skin rabbits anymore. Like I don't know what version of WoW where they changed it, but you actually, like in retail WoW, for example, I don't think you can even skin rabbits anymore. Do I not have a weak aura? We'll see. Okay, do we have any hunter auras we want to enable just for fun? I was just thinking of like aspect. Ooh, that's a big one. Oh, here's my little. Yeah, this one's pretty interesting. Go to load. Player class warrior. We could do hunter. This is a neat little weak aura that I had that actually shows whether I have like a weapon in my main hand or offhand or a shield equipped. I use it on my hardcore warrior. It's kind of a pointless weak aura. It just looks cool. It's like, oh yeah, cool. I can see what weapons I've equipped. This surely, I always talk about the Netflix build on a protection paladin, but this is the Netflix build. We can totally be watching Netflix. I mean, I can play the game with one hand right now. Like we can literally just play WoW with one hand right now. This is like we're not even clicking a button. All we're doing is just running up to mobs and right clicking, right? So until some mob drops a weapon, we're going to be weaponless. Yeah, that's another reason I picked the hunter, is because the pets always makes things a lot easier. I just love pets. I think pets add a lot to the RP aspect of the game. So yeah, once we get the pet, things will be super chill. Actually, I'm not even right clicking. I've got start attack macro bound to my thumb button, mouse button 4. So we can actually hold down both mouse buttons to move. Just so I can play the game with one hand right now because I'm being lazy. Oh boy, these kill times aren't too good, are they? So basically, I can hold. If you hold down both mouse buttons, your character moves forward. So you hold down both mouse buttons. You run up close to a mob, and then I hit mouse button 4, and then I let go of the 2 mouse buttons. So that's how we're attacking. This is super chill. Hey, we're level 4. We only have to get to level 10 to do the pet quest. I don't think we'll see many like bow drops or anything like that, or weapon drops in this area here in the very starter area. I don't think until we get into the next area will we see really any kind of, you know, weapon drops. I think those elemental creatures over here by Dolinar by this lake, I think they tend to drop like cracked bows if I remember correctly. So farming those guys, we might get ourselves a cracked bow that we can use. I mean, I think we do know Serpent Sting, don't we? Yeah, so once we get a cracked bow, we can just treat Serpent Sting as like a... I always treat Serpent Sting as like a poison dart, you know? It's like I don't use ranged weapons a lot on hunters. I play them mostly melee. But I use the Serpent Sting just like as an opener. Like I'll shoot him off with Serpent Sting and then I'll go in and punch him in the face. So then the Serpent Sting is basically just like poison dart. Because Serpent Sting doesn't do any physical damage. In fact, when you shoot somebody with Serpent Sting, it does no damage for like a second until the first tick of the poison damage is applied. So it truly is just like a poison dart. Which does exist in World of Warcraft on the hunter in I think Battle for Azeroth. I think it was when they added poison dart maybe. Why do I prefer melee hunters? I find it to be definitely more difficult, especially on hardcore, because you're right up in you have to run up to the mob, which means you're going to be closer to aggroing other mobs. So it's definitely more difficult in hardcore. It's also more engaging because when you move in, there's going to be times when you're going to want to maybe toggle threat between you and your pet. Because if your pet's taking too much damage, you can basically split the amount of health that's being taken away from your team. Think of you and your pet as a team. You know, it's like a tandem. And so what I do with the melee hunter is I treat my pet's health pool and my health pool as one health pool. And that's how I manage like fighting like 2 or 3 or 4 mobs at once, is I'm basically balancing my pet's health and my health at the same time as like almost like one big health pool to work with. So I don't think of like if I have like 200 health and my pet has 200 health, I don't go into battle thinking I've only got 200 health to work with. I'm thinking I've got 400 health because my pet's health is I feel like that's part of my health pool, and that's why I will use Cower. That's why I will train my pets with Cower, so I can very quickly have my pet drop threat, and I can regain threat if I want. That's why you definitely want to train Cower, which is something you don't normally ever do on a hunter. Like it's very rare that people train Cower on their pets too much because it's just not really needed. Just turn your pet's growl off is enough to not have your pet full threat typically when you're doing like regular PvE raiding or whatever. But yeah, I like it. I like it. Adds the element of juggling threat between you and your pet, so you can use both health pools to handle more mobs at once. And then, of course, you're going to be dropping feign deathing and dropping traps. And of course, it's a lot easier to drop traps on a mob if you're right up next to the mob, as opposed to being like at a distance shooting arrows. And then let's say you want to drop an immolation trap. Well, now you got to pull the mob either over your trap or you got to run up to the mob. So if you're already fighting the mob in close range, it's easier to just instantly, feign death, drop a trap, and have it hit the mob instantly. So yeah, there's a lot of reasons why I like melee better, but those are the main ones.
kiss your ass goodbye.
It's so weird not having any clothes. We could have skipped. What we may want to do is we may want to skip the quests here, and just get to the leatherworking trainer as soon as we can, and focus on getting our gear crafted. That'll probably make that'll probably do us a lot more benefit than trying to finish out some of the quests, and then we can come back and do the quests after we get some gear crafted. So I think that's what I'll probably do. Is once we hit like level 5, we'll go get leatherworking and skinning. But we need money too, so I don't think we don't need a lot though. This guy's level 2.
You can kiss your ass goodbye.
Yeah, I think 10 copper first to learn. I think learning leatherworking might be 1 silver, and I think the gathering are 10 copper, but the main professions might be a silver. I think they are. I'm pretty sure first aid is 1 silver to learn. But I know for a fact like skinning is like 10 copper, I believe. Well, I think it's the other way around. I think the primary professions are silver and the gathering professions are copper. No? Do I have it backwards? I guess we'll find out. Maybe I have it backwards. Let's just finish this quest out. And then we're gonna go get our skinning and our leatherworking online. And like what Morton was saying, we'll definitely focus on killing deer and rabbits. Yeah. UP Classic WoW, level 34, but not making videos anymore. You said you did a little bit of Melee Hunter, no pet. Yeah, I don't like no pet. Yeah, no pet's just no fun. I mean, I think to me the whole like RP aspect of Hunter is really having a pet, and the pets are just so cool, because they have personality, and there's different types of pets, and you can give them a name, and I just find it way more fun. And plus, gives you more stuff to manage. You can feed your pet, you can heal your pet, make your pet stay, make your pet taunt, make your pet not taunt. Like I have macros here that turn my pet's growl on and off. And like I said, I talked about like juggling threat between me and my pet to basically treat our health pool as like one big health pool. It's just way more. There's a lot more stuff you can do, and it's way more engaging, and it just makes it more fun. So like people have always asked me if I would do. Like I've been asked lots of times. Oops, my inventory's full. About doing like a no pet challenge, and I just always thought that was just not something I was in any way remotely interested in. I'm just not interested in that, because what's the point? It's just like, it's basically saying, okay, let's make the game less fun. To me, is all that is doing. Why is this not showing the value of items? Does Guild Wars 2 not show the value? Let's see if we can fix that. I'm surprised Guild Wars 2 UI doesn't show the value of items. Maybe it doesn't show it until I sell it the first time. I knew it was gonna say inventory's full. Yeah. Yeah, that's actually Luca brings up a good point. If you're gonna do like, for example, if you're gonna do like melee hunter with no pet, at that point you might as well just play a rogue. And I've actually had people tell me that when I play melee hunter, it's like, why don't you just play a rogue? I'm like, well, rogues don't have pets, you know. And that's really the, and rogues don't have traps, you know. The cool things about hunter is you've got traps, you've got arrows, you know, obviously, but you've got your pet. Your pet is such a iconic and major factor. It's what makes the hunter the hunter. At least it's what makes the hunter, I think, really fun in WoW is the pets. Like taking away the pet just feels like you're gutting the class. I feel gutted.
Now what?
I'm hungry. I was hungry. Yeah, there's the melee warlock. Yeah, there's the, what does the warlock have? The warlock has the firestone. The firestone warlock. I thought about doing it. I actually thought about doing melee warlock. I actually thought about it, and I think I just never got. I never did do it, but I started to do it once. To do like the melee warlock. Yeah, I think it's something I thought about doing. I,
What brings you here?
but the hunter,
Where the stars go?
like the hunter has,
Three things. The light.
you know, the hunter has some more utility. But like the warlock, I guess, does too. You know, but the hunter has like wing clip and like traps and stuff, which I really like. I really like the trap aspect of the hunter. I think that's really fun. Yeah, we do have to get a skinning knife, so we're gonna buy a skinning knife.
Goodbye.
Probably should go ahead and learn first aid.
Elune Adore.
Should be 1 silver. Yep.
Good luck, friend.
Now we're gonna go learn leatherworking. Oh, I haven't learned skinning. Whoops. Gotta learn skinning too. Let's go learn skinning and leatherworking. I've tried to play Warlock a lot of times, Morton, like many times, and I've always struggled with the class, and I've always not had as much fun on the class as I do like on a Hunter. Although I did have, like, some of the most fun I've ever had on any class in World of Warcraft was the Destruction Warlock in Shadowlands. Destruction Warlock in Shadowlands, the beginning of the Shadowlands expansion, was absolutely so much fun. I can't even... I had so much fun playing that class. They were tanky, they did tons of damage, they had huge burst damage. They just were fun. I don't know how else to say it. They were just fun. You were like a mobile gun turret, you know? So much fun. But I've tried playing the Warlock in vanilla like so many times, and I enjoy it, but I don't enjoy it as much as the Hunter. I do enjoy it though. I think actually the reason I don't like it as much, and I'll tell you why, is because I tend to like classes that are mobile. I like to move around when I'm playing a class. You know, and what's really fun about the Hunter is I can move while shooting a Serpent Sting or shooting an Arcane Shot. I can move while applying Wing Clip. I can move while, you know, I can run around circles around a mob while I'm hitting him with, you know, with like Raptor Strike. On a Warlock, if you're like draining life or you're draining mana, for example, those are channeling spells, so you're basically standing in place. If you're casting like Fear, that's a channeling spell, so you're just standing in place. You're casting Shadow Bolt. It's a channeling spell. So I think really the biggest reason I don't have fun on the Warlock is you're standing in place more than I would like. If I could somehow have builds on the Warlock where I could instant cast a lot of my abilities, a lot of my spells, then I would definitely, you know, really, really like it, you know.
What brings you here?
Yep, you were right. You were 100% correct. 10 copper for primary professions, secondary professions. Looks like it's
May the
silver.
stars guide you.
Oh no, but no, because skinning was only 10 copper. Because see, I'm still at 3.5, and I know I didn't have, and I know I had only 4 silver. Okay, so I guess it's just life skill professions like first aid and cooking are 1 silver, but primary professions and their subsequent secondary professions looks like they're only 10 copper. I'm tired, guys. I worked too much the last couple weeks. I'm exhausted. And I just woke up from sleep. How long have we been streaming? An hour and 30 minutes. And I just woke up from being asleep for, I don't know, like 3 or 4 hours. But I think I have to go back to bed pretty soon. All right, now we're gonna do the unthinkable. We're gonna run around in Darnassus and kill a bunch of deer and bunnies, which I always feel like I'm portraying the night elves by doing this, but it's one of the easiest ways to level up our skinning. Now we don't have a bow, which kind of sucks, so we're gonna have to run up to these things. There should be a deer right here. There isn't for some reason. There he is. Boy, that draw distance is really short. Let me check something. Yeah, skin squirrels. I probably feel like some sort of a crazy person. Like people in Darnassus or Darnassus, however you want to pronounce. How do you? Once we found out that Blizzard had a bunch of employees that were a bunch of bastards and a bunch of like sex-driven like douchebags, then the name Darnassus took on an entirely new meaning to me. Like darn those asses. I was just like, what? Whatever. Probably me just being stupid, but. Yeah, but these night elves are seeing a naked person run around killing deer. They're like, what the fuck? Who is this naked night elf who's running around punching deers in the face? They probably want to lock me up and put me in an insane asylum with those insane druids from Ashenvale. Oh man, that's a tough frog. Took 2 hits to kill him. Pretty sure there's a deer back here. No, there's actually a path over here. What is it? Where does this path go? I never noticed this road. Or maybe that wasn't a road. Maybe it was just a trick. Maybe it was a trick of the light. I think it was just a trick of the light. Made it look like there was a path here. Wait a minute. Hold everything. Oof. The only trees in WoW you can jump off of are these. You see how I like parkour off the tree? One of the few trees you can actually jump off of. Yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, so any kind of build, any kind of build with a warlock where I could get off instant cast would make the class a lot more fun for me. And I'm not saying the class isn't fun. I enjoy the class, but for some reason, me personally, the way I like to play characters in MMOs, I like to be very mobile. I don't know. I just like to move around. I like to move when I'm playing. You know, I like to, whether I'm jumping or shooting arrows, or I just like to be mobile. I find the game more enjoyable. I don't know why. I just do. And that's why the hunter, you know, because the hunter, like, pretty much like arcane shot, serpent sting, concussive shot, those all can be cast while moving. You know, and of course all your melee attacks can be pretty much done while moving. I feel so bad killing these deer, I really do. I feel like a bad person. Oh, look. So, you can already start almost making stuff. We can make a hand-stitched leather cloak. Get some more leather. Let's find some more deer to kill. Maybe what else can we make? Nice. So those are some sexy boots. Those are some cool looking boots too. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it definitely does. Leatherworking has a lot more items. It's actually fairly decent as far as like, you know, items you can craft. Is that a? I couldn't tell. It was just a scroll. I think. Trying to get a few more pieces of leather here, so while we're in Darnassus, that way we can. Although we don't have to be in Darnassus, I'm sure we can get coarse thread over our starter area, but I screwed up and didn't put my hearth. I didn't really screw up. I still think having my hearth back in the starting area is probably a good idea, because we can still go back and do those first quests, finish those out. I've never. Here's what's funny. I've played WoW since beta in 2004, and I don't think I have ever talked to this vendor here or this vendor here.
My goods
I think it's the first time I've ever even talked to this vendor. See how thorough Blizzard is at populating other areas of the map here with some deer. I'm not seeing any. I think if we kill 2 more deer, we can craft maybe 2 pieces of leather. No, we can't skin squirrels. I've seen quite a few squirrels around here. Oh no, shit, takes 3 light leather. Or a chest piece. Hey, what's up, Omar? I don't think I'll probably play. I don't think I'll be playing MOP, just because I mean, we've got so much stuff coming out. I mean, we've got the private server, you know, Epoch's coming out in a couple weeks, or like I think it's coming out next month. Yeah, I don't see myself. I don't really see myself playing MOP, and I like MOP, but there's just too many other things I'm doing. I want to try out. I mean, if that private server sucks, like if I try Project Epoch and it's like absolutely terrible, then maybe I would play Mr. Pandaria. But between playing this hardcore character, because I actually want to play this hardcore character a bit. So, and then I also have my classic characters on the anniversary realm. So I would have to like be splitting time between possibly, you know, those characters, this character, and possibly a private server. So that. Just, and I don't have enough time to play during the day to get progress very far in 4 different versions of WoW, you know? I kind of have to pick my poison. But I do like MOP. I think MOP is a good expansion, actually. Crafting in MOP saw a lot of improvements, and the zones were well laid out. I liked the Pandarian zones were pretty cool. And the dungeons were okay, but the PvP is really balanced. It's one of the best PvP seasons in WoW, I think, is MOP, because the PvP is just very balanced. The classes are balanced. Or at least have better balance than they normally do. I will play Anniversary TBC 100%. Definitely will be playing Anniversary TBC. I like TBC a lot. And I like PvP, and doing some TBC arena, like 2s or something, I think will be really fun. So yeah, for sure I'll be playing that. Alright, I just want to, yeah, we got 3. Cool. Okay, maybe we can get a few more. In TBC, I pretty much play Night Elf. I'm a Night Elf fan. I can't help it. I love Night Elves. So in TBC, I would be playing. I mean, I'm playing my classes that I have in. You know, that I already have. You know what I mean? Yeah, if you've never played Mr. Pandaria, I highly recommend you do. Definitely check out like cooking, like the cooking in Mr. Pandaria is really fun. You know, they have a bunch of new like stuff, the new chef and stuff, and chef's hat and different types of rewards you can get from cooking is really good. Definitely like fishing coupled with cooking is really good in Mr. Pandaria. But yeah, and check out, you know, the the starter monk area or whatever. The panda area is really pretty cool. But yeah, I'll just be progressing my characters that I have already on Anniversary, on the TBC Anniversary, or sorry, the Vanilla Anniversary realm into TBC, which is basically my Night Elves. So I have the Night Elf Hunter, the Night Elf. I got the Human Paladin, the Night Elf Hunter, and the Night Elf Priest. So I'll be progressing those 3 characters into TBC Classic.
Hello.
I'm personally myself, I didn't really enjoy the monk class that much in Mist of Pandaria. I did, like, out of the ones that existed, the one that I enjoyed the most was the Brewmaster, the tank. So if you like tanking, then I would say, yeah, for sure, try the Brewmaster. I didn't care for the melee class, which is, I don't remember what it's called. Is it the Windwalker? I think it's the Windwalker, maybe. Yeah, I think the Windwalker is the melee monk, and then was it Mistweaver? I believe is the healer. I preferred the Brewmaster first, and then the Mistweaver second, and I disliked the melee the most, personally, myself. Although the movement, like monks move really well, so if you like PvP and you like doing like Warsun Gulch or flag carrying maps, like the monks are great at that because they have great movement capabilities. So if you like to play classes that are extremely mobile as a DPS class, then the Windwalker, the name kind of gives it away, doesn't it? The Windwalker is a great class for that. So, but it just depends. I mean, like I said, if you like tanking, I think the Brewmaster is really fun. But if you don't like tanking, obviously don't play the Brewmaster. But yeah, try it out. I mean, definitely try it out. I think the starting area though, the Pandaria area zones are really cool. They're really well designed, and they're very pretty. I mean, they just the trees and the foliage and graphically, I think they're really cool looking. And definitely make sure you go alchemy because there's so many herbs in those Pandarian zones, and alchemy, I believe in Mist of Pandaria you get. Well, I know for a fact that in Mist of Pandaria when you pick herbs as an alchemist, you sometimes loot a special herb that can be consumed as almost like a healing potion, but it doesn't trigger the cooldown. I don't believe it triggers the cooldown of your regular healing potion, and it's a very, very strong heal. So I really, really like that about Miss Pandaria, because I like to roll like a blood decay, which is almost impossible to kill in Miss Pandaria, and then I make them alchemists so that I can get those additional herbs that are kind of like healing potions, and that way not only is my DK hard to kill, but I can pop a healing potion, and right after I pop the healing potion, I can pop that herb. So I have like just crazy, ridiculous health regen. And the herb I think is a healing over time too. I don't think it heals you instantly. I think it gives you health, like big health over time. But it's pretty. Each tick gives you quite a bit. If I remember correctly, I could be wrong on that, but yeah. But definitely, I would definitely recommend fishing, cooking, and alchemy as professions in Mist of Pandaria. I think those are the ones that I really enjoyed. But I probably didn't really do, like, for example, like blacksmithing and engineering. I don't think I did a lot of that in Mist of Pandaria. So. Four, five. I think we have enough to make those 3 pieces of leather. But let's just make sure we have. Make sure. Project Epoch is running off of a Wrath client. It's basically vanilla. So basically, they're taking the vanilla game, and they're reworking some of the dungeons. I think they're adding a new PvP zone. Here, let's see. I think I've got the website up. So, Epoch is you know, you can see they've redesigned the areas. Like this is Goldshire. So it's a little different. The Ironforge Airfield within the 2 mountains of Dunbar that lies the Ironforge Airfield, an important location for military might. So they've added some quests to the Ironforge Airfield, which is cool. The manor Mismantled, they've modified it a little bit. This is usually where you kill Stalvin, but now it's the building, which used to just be a 1-story building, now it's a 2-story building. And they've added some stuff in here, which is cool. I mean, I love it. I love this kind of stuff. This is what Classic Plus should be. Basically taking vanilla and just adding to it. Like adding, not like changing it, keeping it the same vein and the same feel and the same lifeblood of what Classic was, but just adding new content. And that's what they've done. And here's the Upper Marshes, so you've got some stuff. And this is very similar to what Turtle WoW did the same thing, where it kind of added this content to the... Oh, no, this is different. This is over in the wetlands, I believe. Actually, I know where this is. I've actually played Turtle WoW. I think I've actually played this. I think I must have played a version of Epoch, because I know I've been to this area before. So maybe I played one of the betas of Epoch. And then Durnhold Keep, you know, they've done some stuff here. You know, this looks just like, well, this already exists in Classic, so I'm not sure what they've added here, but they've added some stuff there. Blazing Hills. This is going to be in, I think, Arathi. What is that? What zone is that? I think that's just Arathi Highlands, right? Yeah, I think that's just in Arathi Highlands. Spring Saga, the Harbor. So these are like new areas. Either areas they've just kind of added to, or new areas they've kind of redesigned. And then of course they've reskinned some of the dungeons, so you want to take a look at some of that. But it's just really cool what they've done. And then the other thing too that they've done is, you know, combos. You can now be like a dwarf shaman. You can be a gnome priest, human hunter, dwarf mage, undead paladin, which I think is super cool. I've been asking for that in retail for a long time. And the other thing they've changed is the difficulty. So, but anyways, I would just go to this website, read up on it. But I think that it has, I think it has the chance to be really good. I mean, like really good. And the people that have been working on Project Epoch have been working on it for like years, like 3 or 4 years, at least. I've been a member of their Discord for like 2.5 years or something. So. And it's been around, you know, a lot longer than that. So they've been working on it for a long time. So yeah, I mean, I'm very excited, but you know, I'm tentatively excited. But I mean, if they do a good job of implementing the content that they're implementing, then it's going to be amazing. I mean, because think about it, it's basically vanilla WoW with the Wrath client, which right away you've got a much better client. So it's not like Turtle WoW. Like Turtle WoW's using the 1.12 client. And it's just very janky. It's, you know, there's a lot of lag spikes. It's not smooth. And, you know, using the Wrath client is going to get rid of all those issues. And then they talk about scaling the world and making it more challenging. And that's also super exciting. You know, to think that not only are they like adding content to the game, but they're scaling it up and making it more challenging. Because let's face it, WoW's been around a long time and people have already solved, and people know how to set up the characters. They know how to min-max. So, you know, the game is much too easy for most people, so it makes a lot of sense to try to scale it up and make it more difficult.
Good luck, friend.
All right, let's see if we can craft. Now, my character can only wear gear that she can craft, so let's craft our first items, and we're going to make a hand-stitched leather vest and some boots and some bracers. So we are going to need some coarse thread.
Illuminate your path.
The leather vest. Yeah, for sure. So we created our first item that we can actually equip. Our boots and our bracers, and then we're still gonna have to get enough to make a cloak. We're not gonna be naked anymore. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at our first items. I love the boots. Boots are cool looking. Alright, so now we just have to get a little bit more leather so we can make the cloak. Oh, you graduating from university this month? Congrats, man, congrats. Oh, you found a job already? Can start next month? Oh, you will. I mean... Yeah. Yeah, we need pants. Well, let's see. Let's go ahead and make the cloak real quick, and then we'll... And after the cloak, which we can make right now. Okay. Cloak on. And let's see. Our skills leatherworking skills. Okay, yeah. We might be able to to make some other stuff, but let's go ahead and hearth back to doing the quest in the first zone. I don't think we can skin these guys. I don't believe you can skin the mobs in the first zone, so unfortunately. Yeah, so you can't skin these, which kind of sucks. That's why I thought maybe it's not even worth doing these quests in this area. You know what I mean? It may not necessarily be worth doing these, but we are only level 5, so yeah. It's kind of like Turtle WoW, but it looks to be like Turtle WoW, but better. The biggest thing between Epoch and Turtle WoW is really the client. You know, the fact that it's on the Wrath of the Lich King client is going to make a huge difference. Hold on a second. While I crack open a Mexican Coca-Cola. We just need to find a weapon. So we need to learn cooking too. Ooh, level 4 spider. This guy might kill me. Let's see. Now we're good. Like, Aspect of the Monkey is like so OP at this level. Skill level 15? Okay. Alright, cool. Thanks, Luca. Yeah, we'll get the pants at level 15, and I think I'm already at 15, aren't I? Yeah, I'm at 13, so we'll get to 15 just by, by crafting the leather from the leather scraps. That'll continue to level our skill up.
Hello.
How much armor those items have? Boots, 30. Yeah, they get really good armor. 31 armor, 21 armor. They're 45 armor. That's actually pretty good. And then we look at our defense. That gives us, let's see, I'm sorry, our armor. We're at 17% damage reduction. So we need to get that up to around 50% if we can. So we got the electric and the internet set up at my new house that me and my wife bought, that we're moving into on July 5th. So we've already set it up, so it will be on when I get there. So I shouldn't have any downtime, playing WoW from, moving from my apartment to the new house, so that's cool. I wanted to get a new desk. I hate my desk, but I'm spending so much money on the closing of the house and all the furniture. Like literally the furniture that we're buying and that closing of the house is like $20,000 probably. So I'm not. I may end up having to use this crappy desk again until I until I get some more money. All right. I think I'm just not sure if it's worth doing these quests right now. Because I'm not getting any leather. There's no, I can't skin in this area. You know? I think I would rather focus on skinning and also the chance of getting like gear, like actually like a bow and weapons is much greater in the next area. Like bows and weapons don't really drop off these guys. I mean, they probably do, but it's much lower chance. So I think I'm just going to go to the next zone and we'll have to do these quests at another point in time. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should just finish these quests out. But I don't know.
What brings you here?
I kill a level 6 beast, probably not. It probably would kill me. Level 5 we could probably do. Let's see how hard this level 5 out. He's probably gonna tear me out. Let's see. Oh yeah, he's hurting me pretty good.
You can kiss your ass goodbye.
Level 5. I'm probably doing this in the wrong order. Oh, I know we can get the bunnies, and there's definitely some bunnies over here. We probably could take out the little moonstalkers as well. I hate to do this because I like seeing the grass, but it's going to be a lot easier to spot bunnies and stuff if we scale down on some of that.
You can kiss your ass goodbye.
Oh, this is not good.
You were screwed.
I think we're gonna bug out on this guy. Ooh, don't kill me. Ooh. Yeah. Ooh, wait, we got a food crate. Ooh, we needed that. This is our first food. All right. Okay, so the food we can keep. That food we can keep.
Be careful.
Greetings. Goddess.
Yeah, I think we should just go back to Darnassus and get our pants crafted, and then I'll just hearth. Well, if I can hearth back. Yeah, probably not 49 minutes. I think we can kill. I don't know. There we go, nice. I only have one light leather, shit. What level's this guy? Yeah, these level 6 guys are killing me. This level 5 guy maybe I can take out.
You can kiss your ass goodbye. You were screwed.
Down to just 2 food. I don't know. I almost made the wrong item there. Yeah, I should have stayed in Darnassus and made the pants. That was a mistake. Live and learn. Alright, so yeah, we can make the pants, like you said, at skill level 15. And the belt at 25, ouch. And then at level 35, we can start getting the green stuff. Alright, let's go make our pants. I think the belt was 15 as well. We might be able to make the belt, but I probably need more leather. Oh, it's 25. Yikes. 25. Alright, we need the pants. 46 armor. That's going to be nice. Alright, now we've got the pants. Alright, I think I'm going to take a break for now. I'm really tired. And I'm on cooldown on the hearth, and I don't want to run all the way back to the start area. So when I get back after the hearthstone is reset, I'll hearth back to the starting area and finish. We're going to grind the starting area up to at least like level 7 or maybe even 8 before we move into the next zone. Because if we don't have a weapon, killing the mobs that are like level 5 and level 6 is actually really difficult. Yeah, it's actually pretty. Like, you saw like when I killed like a level 6 Moonstalker, I had to run away because it was killing me. So I'm gonna go back to the starting area and level to like maybe level 7, and then get back into the next zone by Dolinar, and then we'll just farm leather, and we want to farm the Timber Maul mobs because those guys are most likely to drop me like some weapons that I can use. That would be the best, I think, the best option. Also, we still need bags, so we can farm those guys for bags and weapons. But I'm gonna go back to bed for, it's 5 a.m. So I'm gonna go back to bed till at least maybe 8, like 3 hours, and then maybe I'll come back and stream for like maybe an hour before work because I work at 9:30. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll keep leveling this character up during the rest of the week and see what we see. Yeah, hey Luca, have a good day at work, man. If you guys are at work, have a good day, and I will catch you again pretty soon.
What you suspect? Why you more?